I'm doing a bit of a clean out because my makeup collection has gotten a little bit out of control and it doesn't all fit in my drawers anymore, so I'm going to have to get a little bit brutal, which I'm not very good at doing. I thought I'd show you some of the things that I'm moving on and a bit of makeup nostalgia and what I think about them. I'm doing eyeshadows to start with because that's where I had the biggest issue, and I've got some really old stuff that I've probably held on to for way too long, but you know, I have a bit of an issue with chucking stuff out, so don't judge. First things that I've decided it's time to move on are my old Kylie Cosmetics palettes. I think I was getting just about everything as she was releasing it back at that time. I don't have the bronze palette here because I know I used, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, I had a big sort of focus on trying to use that one up, and I got it, I'm pretty sure I got a lot of the way through, so I've already actually moved that one out of the drawer. But yeah, the burgundy palette, some of the old holiday collection, some of these have got to be getting close to 9 or 10 years old. They're still, the color stories of these are still cool. I would still quite happily wear some of these, but as I was pulling them out to sort of move them on, I kind of mucked around with a few of them, and they're not performing anymore. They're really dry. They kind of dust away, and the shimmers are just not shimmery at all anymore. But they were really beautiful. I have got, because I have an issue with chucking things out, I've got a box of makeup nostalgia that I keep, things that are just like memories that I can't put in the actual rubbish bin, and they're going to end up going in there. But yeah, they were cool for the time, and it was like a contact sport trying to get them. You know, you had to be on 3 o'clock in the morning when they launched, ready to go. Missed out often, got disappointed, then got the excitement and the rush back again, trying to log back on and get them. So yeah, good memories, and for the time, good products. But they can go now. Sticking with the Kardashians, another one that I'm going to be moving on, this one I'll chuck out, I don't have as much of an emotional attachment to this one, is KK Beauty Matte Palette. This at the time was unusual because it was all mattes and a lot of cool tone mattes too, which weren't the thing. This was right at the time where warm, everything was super duper warm, so being able to get kind of cool neutrals was actually really unique. Happy to report now there's a lot more of them around, because I like that kind of mid-tone neutrally coolly sort of 90s grungy eye look. But again, I played with this a couple of weeks ago, and it's not working anymore. They barely pick up on the brush, and they kind of dust away. But as I said, it's probably 6-7 years old, something like that maybe, so you know, can't expect too much. Another one that was good for, and especially I think good for the price and got quite a bit of use, was a Colourpop Wild Child. I used to buy quite a bit of Colourpop because I liked how they were reasonably very affordable, shipping costs aside, but you could get lots of colour at a really good price. When you weren't, like, when I wasn't sure if they were the colours that I really wanted, so just occasionally you'd want to, you know, just the occasional random pop of some different unique colour. You don't want to spend a fortune on that, so Colourpop was really good for that. And this was kind of really nice and shimmery and super duper warm and sparkly. There was a whole range, so I'm pretty sure there was lip, eyes, cheeks that all went along with it, and the cheeks were really nice as well, super duper pigmented, so you had to be really gentle with them. But yeah, it's time. I don't wear super duper warm red based browns that much anymore, and it's old and I haven't got room, so you know. This one I bought because my nephew was super into dinosaurs a little while ago, and he was playing with makeup quite a bit, so I bought one for him and one for me. It was the Coach collab with the Sephora collection. It's cute. This is definitely going in the memories box because, you know, of the reason that I bought it, so I'm not going to chuck it out. The eyeshadows were rubbish. They never really performed very well. I wore it a handful of times, so this was more of a makeup for memories as opposed to makeup for good makeup. So it, you know, it's cute. It'll go in the box. We'll tell stories about it when he's a little bit older and how we both played with our dinosaur makeup. These ones, I'm actually finding it hard to move these ones on, and they'll go in the memories box for sure because they're still quite good. It's just that I don't wear these colours as much anymore. So these are the Sydney Grace collab that Temptalia did, and they were beautiful. The covers all joined together to make a beautiful image, which, you know, me, I'm a space nerd, so how could I not? But they also, the colours and the formulas were really good. They're not holding up as good anymore. They still work okay, but I've got other palettes and other eyeshadows that I would reach for over these. You can tell this one has had a good workout because they're the sort of more mid-tone, grungy, dusty sort of colours. It was, you know, it was my first time using Sydney Grace eyeshadows, so I wanted to give them a go. I loved them, and I did use them quite a lot. If I had space, I would be keeping these. I still occasionally dip into the colours, so I wouldn't be moving them on if I had space for them. They'll definitely go into the memories box, and they may even come out again. Speaking of nostalgia, no, not really nostalgia, but hype. Hype is the right word. Lady Gaga, massive fan. So when she announced she was launching a makeup brand, I didn't care that it was with Amazon. In fact, I don't reckon I even clocked that it was with Amazon. I jumped online and bought every single one of the kits as soon as she launched them. So from memory, there was a kit. Each one was a color kit. It had this as a liquid eyeshadow. There was a lip pencil and a lip gloss, I'm pretty sure, in each of the different color stories. I loved these. They were really good. They creased quite a bit on my eyes. There's kind of a blacky shiny one, a green, a more reddy one, and a sort of a taupey silvery grey one. I used them a fair bit. I would not have gotten my use out of them compared to how much I paid for them. But you know, it was pretty cool at the time to have Lady Gaga's makeup. I like her new stuff as well. In fact, I like her new stuff better, but they still had a really cool place in my life. So I reckon maybe one or two of these might go in the memory box. Probably not all of them though. Stila, who can, you know, these were fantastic. I'm not unhappy with this. The only reason I'm moving this on is because it's dried out. You can probably see it's all separated. I used the majority of this. In fact, it's probably empty. This one is Rose Gold Retro. I've still got quite a few of these, especially the glitter ones. I like the glitter and glows for just that sort of dusting of glitter, and it holds on quite well. So I'm pretty happy that I got my usage out of this. And you know, if I was still wearing that sort of really shiny metallic-y eyeshadow, I would still continue to buy these. So yeah, but happy that one's done. This was I'm pretty sure this was my first ever Beautylish Lucky Bag. It would have been 2016 because I went back and had a look through my photos, and it was definitely my very first ever Natasha Denona product. This is eyeshadow palette 5. There's a mix of purpley, taupey, goldy sort of colours in here. You can see I used especially this purple and they were heavily used. I will definitely keep this in my makeup memories box, but they don't perform anymore. The mattes are just really super dusty. The shimmers are really flaky and they just really drop off. It's nearly 10 years old, so I'm not surprised. But yeah, that was before Natasha Denona was massive, before she was releasing palette after palette after palette, and it was quite an achievement to actually get a Natasha Denona palette in my Beautylish Lucky Bag. I used to get the Lucky Bags every single year. I think I got one last year, and I don't think I had done one before that for maybe 2 or 3 years because it's just too repetitive and I don't need anything more. But yeah, so that's some eyeshadow products that I'm kind of moving on to make space because the girl's got too much makeup. Hope that was interesting. Bye.